Hi guys.
Hello.
You gotta go that way. Happy Sunday. I know I'm live again. I was just live a couple hours ago, but that was business. This is more relationship. Now, as we have been doing for the last few months, Nancy and I are going to talk about some things that have to do with some relationship stuff. Hi Lisa. Hi Debbie. And this is it's interesting. We were getting some stuff at the grocery store today, and we saw this book by Time Magazine called The Science of Laughter. And there's a whole chapter on relationships. And we picked it up and we started reading it, and we learned some really, really interesting things, not only about laughter, but actually what women want, what men want, and the difference between both of those. Hi, Linda. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. Al, welcome. So because we were both like, we were having breakfast this morning. We're like, oh my God. And we were like, literally like we went back and forth, like reading to each other about this. Hi, James. So why don't you share the first thing? And I mean, we entitled this, why women prefer laughter over looks, and the interesting things about men. So why don't you start us off?
Yeah. So.
Can you bring those over here?
Okay.
Okay.
We don't need them.
All right.
So anyway, like Scott said, we were just kind of walking around, and I grabbed the magazine because laughter and humor is very important, right? I think daily it's good to laugh. But anyway, as we were flipping through, it was really interesting because there was a whole article on relationships and the importance of laughter and what men find attractive and what women find attractive, and it totally flip the script for
Blew
me.
both of our minds.
Because I know as a woman that I prefer, a man who's funny and intelligent and all those good things. That's actually like the biggest thing for me. Everyone's a little bit different. Sorry, the dog's there. But everyone's a little bit different, and we all have our different types and things like that. But, I'm initially attracted to someone, based on conversation and that kind of thing. And the more we read and the more we'll kind of unfold is men are very different. And it's a lot more around ego and things like that. So I really want to grill Scott a little bit, and we really haven't talked about this at all. But I kind of want to grill him on some of his, thoughts around what guys think and everything.
Well, the big thing is this, relationship, like, we have so much fun, but we play games all the time. So my dad had a bench press contest yesterday, and we had a 2.5 hour ride back home at I don't even know, it was 8 o'clock. Yeah. And we were trying to pass the time, and we plugged in our iPhone, and we were going through music, and she happened to pick a song that had the band that had a letter A in it. I'm like, ooh, here's an idea. I said, let's go song for song, but do it for the alphabet. So I was at, 208. I was up next, so I picked B, and then she went C, and we actually got all the way, I think, to
Weezer.
W. And it made the ride go by like that, and it was fun because we were just singing, and it was a lot of I introduced her to some new music, and she introduced me. But here's the thing: we played a game today where we would name a person, and the first 3 characteristics of that person we had to say those things, and we just had just fun, and that's what life's all about. And it was interesting because she said to me, I was more reserved in the beginning of the relationship. I was funny, but she said as we've been together longer, I've gotten funnier and
goofier
and more goofy. Because she'll turn to me at certain points. She goes, "Are you okay? You okay?"
Because it's not usual, but I love it.
She goes, "You're a little sassy today." I mean, she's usually the sassy one, but I can get sassy too. So anyway, where did you want to start?
Yeah, I just wanted to start with the things that we kind of uncovered as we were reading the article. And the first thing was women are attracted to men that make them laugh. So that was like the first thing, right? So I, as a woman, I'm not surprised by that.
Well, how many women are attracted to men that are funny?
Yeah,
type, I am in the comment section, because, for any of my friends or anyone that I've been with, I like being funny. What were you saying that, in the article, it actually said a sense of humor equates to high intelligence.
Yeah.
Because what was the thing that you said? It was because...
Yeah, so a funny guy usually equals a brainy guy, which equals a successful guy, which equals a guy who's going to be a good father, for, and provider. So it's kind of that thing, I guess, like a natural thing that goes off for women, that it's like, ooh, okay.
Lisa
smart,
likes funny guys.
Yeah, and that we're going to have smart kids, that kind of thing.
I mean, life isn't supposed to be I guess serious is okay. But I think there's a time for being serious. Crystal says she does. Dina says she does. Donna says a sense of humor is the key, plus be a gentleman. Absolutely. And that's, and I love being goofy and I love being funny, because, there's nothing better than laughing with the person that you're with, Yeah.
So with women, it's usually laughter first, then looks. Now, what do you guys think?
Yeah. So
Men.
wait, no. So how many women agree that they've dated some very attractive men, but they have been like just walls where they're just a good-looking guy. There's no real energy to them, and then you've dated some other men that some people might say aren't that good-looking, but they have such a great personality. They're funny. They're outgoing, and they make you laugh and they make you feel good. How many people, you've experienced that, because I think all of us. So can I speak for the men?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So men are, so listen to this. Men are most likely drawn to women who laugh at their jokes, meaning they don't want to be with a woman that's funny. They want to be with a woman who just thinks they're funny. And page 50. Okay, so I'm going to read you guys something, because this was really interesting. So I just want you guys just to listen for a second. So let's start. We'll start by the equation, because that's what I read. Okay. So if we break down our Darwinism calculations, we find a funny guy equals a brainy guy equals a successful guy equals a guy who will be a good father and a provider. We all know that life gets so hard sometimes, and we're always searching for ways to lighten it up, says relationship and intimacy expert Marla Madison. That's why we watch these funny YouTube videos over and over again on a loop. It brings us genuine sense of joy, and with that comes relief. I'm going to skim down. There is plenty of evidence that funny guys can mate with super funny women without leaving their manliness at the front door. Jimmy Kimmel is married to Molly McNeary, the hilarious former head writer of his late night show. Director and comedian Jordan Peele is married to comedian and actress Chelsea Peretti, whom he has called, quote, the funniest person in the world. Jerry Stiller, Ben Stiller's dad, was married to his comedy partner. They were comedy partners together. And the late Ann Mira, who was amazing, for 61 years, and said she was both a loving mother and as, quote, funny as anyone, who was considered a giant in comedy back when we started. And on a personal note, my wife Lisa's sense of humor is the only thing that has kept me from jumping off a bridge during numerous home renovation projects that cost more and looked worse than we could have ever expected. And it just goes to show you that, Ali, does that mean that ugly guys like me should tap into our inner Bonzo the Clown? Bozo the Clown. I don't think anyone, I think the way that we speak about ourselves is the way that we want other people to see us. So
yeah, I mean, and I would also say, I mean, we talk about funny guys, but on the other side of that is confidence and intelligence, you know? So being confident and portraying yourself confidently is huge. I think that there was actually a show on VH1 a while ago about these guys who talked about how important confidence was. I don't look up the name of that show, but it was really funny. They dressed up and everything. And
So there's one other thing that I wanted to say. So a woman by the name of Joanne Nishinsky, an actress and former Miss New York USA, and co-host of the Very Funny Morning with Bill Schultz and Joanne Nishinsky, a subscription comedy talk show on the Compound Media. Nishinsky told me the story of her parents, Jim and Marianne, married for almost 35 years. When the couple began first dating, Jim, her father, sent his lady love a postcard with a Jimmy Buffett lyric on it. And it was quoted, "The weather is here, wish you were beautiful." That sealed the deal, Nishinsky told me. She ate it up, so I have Jimmy Buffett to thank for my conception. So, funny, like it just goes a long way. And, it's just so funny how men just want women to laugh at their jokes. And who wants a relationship like that?
No, and it talked a lot about how men, where women look at laughter and funny first and then looks, men obviously look at looks first, physical attractiveness, and then they go down the rungs of everything. So on their totem pole, being intelligent and being funny is not really high up there. And it was kind of like, really? And so all day I've been looking up articles about this just because I didn't realize that there was such a love gap, like a big gap there.
Huge love gap.
And I thought it was really funny because men, it's all surrounding their ego. If a guy's insecure about the way they look, their level of success, their ability to take charge, being with a woman who's funny and, smart and intelligent is terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because after reading all these articles, tons of women who are single and are, in the dating scene right now and trying to find a guy are women who are in power positions, in managerial positions, in positions where they're making way more money than, a lot of men, and they can't find a good guy. And I thought that was so crappy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's really crappy. And that's I really wanted to pick your brain because we're on here live.
Go ahead.
So why not, throw it out there? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, we make such a good match. I mean, we play off each other, and it's been funny because the first time that I went on a date with Scott, we went on a date that was amazing and it was great, but we didn't talk for 3 months after that. We kind of, did our own thing and whatever. And our first date, it was great because, he was very smart and we had great conversation. But I didn't know Scott was really kind of funny and really funny until just a couple months ago. We've been together, almost 10 or 11 months at this point, and I didn't really realize he was really funny. So it's been a pleasant surprise.
I was boring for the first 8 months.
No, but no, you're definitely goofball, and I love it. But anyway, so what I wanted to ask you, and this is maybe for women out there, I mean, for some women out there who are single, who have, strong jobs or careers, and they might be really witty and funny. Do you have any dating advice? I mean, what do you make of all that?
Well, number one, my number one piece of advice is do not settle. Don't settle to be in a relationship. Don't settle to be in a marriage just to say that you're in one. It took me 2 marriages and a few other long-term relationships to end up with Nancy. I don't regret any of it. I've openly talked about it. I appreciate, honor, and love my journey. I learned so much from the people that I was with, and it got me to where I am right now. But I wasn't going to settle, and I don't think anybody should settle. And that doesn't mean when I was in the relationship I felt I was settling. Things happen, and you look back and you learn from those things. So I really feel for the girls out there that are having trouble finding those guys. they're out there. Sometimes things happen when you least expect them, and you don't know when it's going to happen. And for the guys, in the article, it said man up. Full transparency, before Nancy, I dated someone that was very successful, made 7 or 8 times more money than I did. To some men, that would have been really hard to do. And I had guys say to me, are you intimidated by that? And I wasn't. I was staying on my path, and I was in my own lane. I'm super proud of anyone that I'm with, no matter how much or how much little money you're making. That doesn't make a difference. I'm still the same person. So there's a lot of men egoically that feel societally they're the man of the house. They have to make all the money. The woman doesn't. They're going to stay and I give my sister so much credit. Blair and Jason are both very successful business people. Blair wants to still work. She had her baby. She could have easily, Jason said, no, I got this. You stay at home. And, that wasn't their conversation. He knew very well getting into this that Blair was not going to stop working. She loves her job. She loves what she does. They want to have more kids, and she's not going to stop working even when they have more kids, because societally, that's not the role that people play anymore. So for the men and women out there, if you think you can't find that person, they're out there. You just don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and really let your inner light shine. I remember I went to, I had a therapy appointment when I was back in the dating scene and stuff again. I always overanalyzed everything that I was doing, and I was always overcompensating and this, that, and the other. And I said, should I do this? Should I do that? My therapist said, Scott, just show up to the date. You're enough. You don't need to bring gifts. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. Just bring you. You're the gift. I took some of her advice. But Nancy and I had spoke a couple times, and on our first date, I didn't bring flowers. We didn't even eat dinner, which we thought that's another story. I brought her a book. She was really into personal development, and she was going through a transition in one of her businesses. And I brought her Jen Sincero's You're a Badass at Making Money. That was my bouquet of flowers. It was different. And it was interesting. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm going to. We were sitting there, and, I told her about, my past and my divorces and me being, a dad as well. And she said, well, do you still believe in marriage after all of that? And I said, absolutely, without a doubt. I believe that, life is meant to be spent with someone else, to be a team and to be a unit, and to be best friends and lovers and family. And there's a proven statistic that happy married people live 10 years longer than people that are not in good relationships and miserable.
And guess what else? One of the stats in the article, couples who laugh more together tend to have higher quality relationships long term.
So I know there's a lot of people jumping on here right now. So I just want to say hi to Christy, Jerry, Silka. Oh, it's so great to see all my old high school friends on here. Noelle, Stephanie, Leanne, Pam, Jeff, Bianca. Hi, everybody. And we're just talking about the misconceptions of what people actually think relationships are about. We pay such attention to what's going on in our surroundings. We'll be at restaurants and we'll just see couples just staring at each other just blankly.
It's like that movie Date Night with Tina Fey. We're just I wonder, just people watching.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Yeah.
And we have such a good, we can just make a game and have fun of everything. But I think even if you're in a relationship now, you're married, you have kids, it's never too late to either get back to where things once were before life changed with kids and family and everything, it's never too late. It's all, you have to work at your relationships. You have to pour into them. They take work. And I think they think they're easy. You know, confidence goes a long way. And women want to be with someone who can make them laugh, who can also show their emotional side themselves, but also be emotionally mature enough to handle their emotions when the time is right. They want to be with someone who they can listen to and they can listen to them. And, you know, we were driving in the car today and Nancy was just speaking out loud. And she goes, I'm just thinking in my head and then speaking out loud. I don't need you to say anything back.
I don't need a solution.
I don't need it. I'm just talking it out. So there's times for that too. So I know you just wrote something down.
Yeah. So the one thing that I just wanted to go back to, because we talked a little bit about dating, and I like to bring this up because I actually wanted to start my own blog a while ago when I had just got back, you know, into dating after not dating for almost like 8 years. So the biggest thing is, I mean, just learning all this, right? You know that men, you know, are initially physically attracted and then they're a little scared by women who are intelligent and funny. Okay. So they're actually drawn away. I want women who are single or maybe jumping back on the dating scene to hear this, because so many times, and I've talked to so many women, oh my gosh, I have so many friends that are actually single right now. So if there's any men out there who are looking for a good girl, I've got a couple. But here's the thing, like, I know so many women who are funny, smart, intelligent, and they are just such awesome people, but they have not had success in the dating world. And the message that I want to give to them is work on yourself, be confident, and if something doesn't work out, it doesn't mean it's you and that you're not good enough.
So there was there was something that Nancy asked me. She said, what's the number one thing that turns you off about a woman? And I was blunt with her. And I said, the number one thing that turns me off is when a woman is not confident in herself.
Yeah.
There is nothing more sexy, attractive, and just hot when the person that you're with or that you're attracted to just owns their shit. They're confident. They don't complain about, like, I mean, listen, everyone picks at themselves occasionally.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's so confident. Like, it's just, you know, there's no, like, I'm putting this on. Ugh, I look disgusting. I'm taking this off. Like, we went out to dinner and she put on this like tight, hot black dress, and I'm like, damn, like, yeah, rock it. So it's the truth. Like, there's nothing more attractive than a woman's confidence. So, and again, every woman out there has that confidence inside of them. You're just choosing to let your story, maybe of your past or how you think other people see you, completely take over how you actually are.
Well, and that's the thing. I really believe that when you work on yourself and you fill up your own tank, that's usually when you're in the best place to even begin a new relationship. So, you know, and again, I've met people who have found love at every single age. Okay. I've seen people dating in their 60s and their 70s. Like, I've
Both
seen
my
people.
parents.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, it's out there for everyone. It's available for everyone. But just don't doubt yourself. You are enough. And sometimes you just got to work on yourself and give yourself the love that you need. And then you'll find that person who really, you know, is there for you and isn't so egoic, you know, that they're scared away by someone who is intelligent and smart and wonderful.
So pick my brain for, like, I mean, speak for the women, because you know them.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, like, I could talk all day. You could probably ask me about women. Like, of course, like, guys who are funny and smart, like, I'm telling you, like, I can't even be more real with you. That is higher on my totem pole than muscles. I mean, I like the muscles, but, like, you know, that's higher on my totem pole. Funny, intelligent, that's highest for me. And for any guys who are on there who might be insecure or feel like, ooh, you know, I'm not this, whatever, I'm telling you, if you're confident, if you're funny, you're intelligent, you know, you know a lot of things and you seem like you're, you know, whatever, it is very attractive for
Goes a
women.
long way.
It goes a really long
I
way.
mean, look, I mean, they say it all the time. What did you say to me tonight? You know, looks aren't always going to be there.
No,
they're not.
Yeah, and I mean for women, and that's why I think in the long run, I think it's exciting to hear about all the funny couples that we talked about earlier, like Ben Stiller's parents and all that stuff. That kept them going, right? Looks fade, everyone. You know, we're all going to be wrinkly, we're all going to be old, and we're all going to not look like we did in our 20s and 30s. You know, it's inevitable. But being with a person who genuinely cares about you and appreciates you is huge. And I just want to throw in there too, like, you know, I have been on dates with guys who were absolutely wonderful, right? Like super great and whatever. And the lack of confidence in themselves actually like hindered things.
Yeah. I mean,
so
Natalie just said, you know, looks fade and you need someone who can hold a conversation and make you laugh when you're 80.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so true.
Life's all about fun and games.
I mean, I think, you know, for me, I've learned much more about myself. You know, I'm much more emotionally mature in relationships, but at the same time, I have no problem being a grown-up kid. Like, I love having fun. I love being goofy. We were out to dinner last night with my dad and his girlfriend, and we were just messing with the waitress the entire time. She said something, like she was joking with me because we went to an Italian restaurant and she was, you know, we were asking her what the best dishes are. And I said, you know, my staple, my go-to is chicken parm. She goes, eh. And I'm like, perfect. I'll have the chicken parm. And she like wasn't excited that I, you know, got it. And she was like, you know, just playing around with me. So she came back to check on and everyone's like, you know, she's like, how's the Marsala? I told you it's amazing. She goes, great. And I'm like, yeah, the chicken parm is phenomenal. And she like just started cracking up. She goes, I have nothing to say back to that. And it's just about having a good time no matter where you are. Debbie says, Nancy, where can women go in their 60s to meet good guys? Dating sites are ripoffs.
I would say, honestly, I've known a couple people who have met on Bumble. So
well, my mom met Anthony on
Match.com. Okay.
We met on Bumble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bumble does work. I mean,
I like Bumble just for the fact that you don't get creepy messages from guys. The woman actually has to reach out to the guy, and you choose who you talk to or not talk to before you exchange information. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to download. You know, you don't have to start a conversation with anyone. You can literally just see who's out there. And if you want to have coffee and meet someone, that's fine. The other thing that I throw out there too is, even if you're not specifically just meeting, you know, someone to date, you can go to meetup groups. So if you go to meetup.com, you know, let's say you really like hiking or you like painting or you love to, you know, maybe a book club or something, you can actually meet people that way, just in social circles. So.
Yeah. And I think, you know, for men, you know, women, you know, so let me ask you, what's the biggest turnoff for you about a guy?
So I mean, I have a couple hot buttons. One, I do not like
besides
guys.
Having long fingernails.
Oh yeah, I don't like long fingernails. Oh, that creeps me out. Please, if you have long fingernails, cut them. That's disgusting. So anyway, the three things that really are kind of like instant, like
there's three?
Yeah.
I just had one. I could have more.
Okay.
No, so, you can go through.
No,
it's
for
fine.
guys, I think one is, you know, the lack of confidence. So like if you're not confident and you're constantly doubting yourself and you can't make a decision, you know, that to me, it's like, okay, well, if you can't, you know, even do that, like I get a little worried, you know, where that's going. So that's one thing. And then two, I really, really, really do not like immature guys. You know, okay, funny is one thing, but whenever you're incredibly obnoxious, it is such a turn off. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
No, you're not at all. But immaturity, like emotional intelligence, not having good emotional, not a good thing. And, you know, the third thing is if you're not kind, you know, if a guy is like overly cocky or confident and he's just not a kind person.
A dickhole.
If he,
we love that word, by the way.
Dickhole. Yeah, he's being a dickhole.
It's fun to say.
What's the word you've used lately? Jackwagon.
Jackwagon.
Like, jackwagon.
Jackwagon.
Anyway, so those are 3 turnoffs for me. So, obviously be humble, be kind,
I mean, listen,
whatever.
there's so many women on here right now. My friend Rebecca's on here. Hi,
Help me
Glory,
out,
Roya.
ladies.
So, ladies, what do you love? All right, let's do this first. What's the biggest turn off for you about men? So in the chat box, because it's good for us to hear from you. And I mean, I think it's good for some of the guys on here to hear. What are the biggest turn-offs for you? We're going to do turn-offs first, and then we're going to do turn-ons, because I think we're all animalistic at the core. We all can be who we truly should be. So the ladies that are on here, Debbie, Natalie, what are the biggest turn-offs for you about men where you're like, hell no? So because we all have the hell no. I mean, for me, I told you, it's like, for me, my turn off with women is when they're just not confident, when you have to be a cheerleader. They're just like, you are great. You're like, I need a woman who knows they're the shit. And anything I mean, obviously I tell her every day how much I love her and how beautiful she is. But she doesn't require that. Lisa said, when someone is cocky and full of themselves. So we're going to start seeing trends here. I'm telling you. So that's 2 for people when they're cocky and full of themselves. So women, ladies, Debbie says, drunks with vulgar mouths. Yeah, that's yeah. So we call that truck driver mouth, right? My sister's got a potty mouth all the time, though, all the time. Hi, Courtney. So my question was to the ladies: what are your turnoffs? What do you not like about that men do, or what's something like what's your non-negotiable? Like, if that happens, done. That's it. So I'll wait for another couple answers to come in there. So let's go on the flip side. Lisa, Debbie, whoever else is on here that's willing to answer, what's the number one thing that you love most about men? Like, what's that one trait that a man has where you're like, yes,
yeah,
I got it.
Yeah.
So like me. What about me? What about me?
What about me? Well,
What is it about me?
You're so manly. No, I love like so many things about you. I would say, I really appreciate your confidence, your kindness. I really love that you can let loose and be goofy, and you appreciate me. So.
Cool. See? So, what are those things that you love about the guy that you're with? Or, what's the one thing that you're looking for a guy to possess? Because, just like in business goals and in personal goals, we should have relationship goals. If you're going to take your health seriously, if you're going to take your job and your profession seriously, take your relationship that seriously too. Lisa says, when he is confident, respectful, and thoughtful.
Definitely.
That's beautiful. So guys, that relationship, it's just so interesting. Like, grab the equation for me. So just look at this equation. Let me see if you can see it. Over here. Yeah, there we go. Funny guy equals brainy guy equals successful guy equals guy who will be a good father and provider. Debbie says good conversationalist and listener. Lisa said, of course, when they can make you laugh daily. Absolutely. So Lisa says, I have 5 boys. It's her and 5 boys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot of testosterone. God bless you. And, the thing is we don't have to settle for anything in our lives at all. And realizing what men and women really want. I think men, my advice to you is, I look up to her. She inspires me. I'm not that person where, I think every guy feels like they have to carry the load and, they're running. No, like it's a team effort here. I want to be with a woman who wants to grow as well and wants to have something for her own business and wants to run and be their own independent person within the relationship. And I think guys out there, you should want the same thing. I would, I want someone that's going to push me as much as I'm going to push them. And for all the ladies out there, absolutely, one, you know, look yourself in the mirror and realize how amazing you are. And you don't need a guy to tell you that you are. When you know you are, the guys will show up, and the ones that you're looking for. Confidence is the sexiest thing a woman can possess.
Yeah, and a guy too. Because if a guy's confident, he's going to want to be with a woman who is intelligent, funny, smart, all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to finish up with?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much covered it all. But, you know, I do like in the wrap up in the article, it did talk about that successful long-term relationships are better and, you know, are better whenever couples can laugh more together. So
the key to this whole thing is if you're single or you're not happy in your relationship, you deserve to be in one where you are. But most importantly, you should be laughing every single day with your partner at some point. Like, it doesn't have to be like all the time, but you should be laughing with your partner. And obviously there's going to be challenging times that we all go through in our lives. But if that core foundation of what you guys have is built on love, on laughter, on respect, on honor, and treating each other, like Nancy said, with kindness, you know, I just want to say one last thing, just unrelated to relationships. Let's stop treating people like shit. You know, I mean, outside of relationships, let's stop being dickholes to people for no reason. And I'm serious. This world needs more love right now. This world needs more caring and kindness, and respect. So let's be kinder, let's be nicer, let's be more open, and let's be more loving, because that's what the world requires right now. Not all this stupid stuff that's going on. No more gossiping. You know, that's for high school. When we get out of high school, that's when the gossiping and the talking behind people's back stops. There's too many more important things in life to worry about than all of that. And that's all I got to say about that.
awesome.
Guys, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. We love you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.